The Barry-Roubaix is one of the biggest gravel races in the world, with over 5,000 riders registered this year. It takes place in Barry County, Michigan, and has a full range of distances, with 100 miles being the longest, so that's what I did. The route mostly consists of rolling hills on dirt and gravel roads, but there is a little variety with some fun sandy two-track in the middle. If you finish under 6.5 hours, you get a cool looking mug. So my main goal was to get that, but my plan was to try and stick with the front pack as long as I could, and then just ride my own pace for the rest of it. It ended up starting a lot harder than I expected. The first 10 or so miles were crazy fast, way harder than I would normally start a 100-mile ride at, but I was determined to just stick on, so a couple times a gap opened up, but I worked to close it and just stay with the front group. You can see just how big this front pack was at the start here. The pace of this front group started to ease up a little bit about 10 miles in. Then the pace picked right back up as people tried to be the first to the two-track section. I didn't look at the course too closely before the race, but now I know that this section is a big pinch point. If you aren't near the front, you'll end up stuck behind people walking up the first hill here. This whole section was pretty dang fun. I was having a great day at this point. Eventually, the fun sandy stuff was over, and it was back to just roads for the rest of the route. I found myself in a lot of small groups in the second half of the race, so we'd ride together for a few miles, and then we'd kind of all split up, go our own paces.
No, last year. This year I knew right where it was, and I was like...
For the most part, I was feeling pretty good, but I was really struggling to keep up with anyone on the paved climbs. Probably a combination of my bike setup and my weight. But I'd fall behind on the climbs and then catch back up when it got to the dirt roads or gravel roads. The rest of the route didn't really have a ton of variety. There were some pretty views, but for the most part, just pretty standard dirt roads and pavement.
$70 in, hanging out in no man's land with no music, getting boring.
There's a no music rule for this race, so whenever I found myself riding alone for long stretches, I was getting very bored and really struggling with motivation. So I was kind of starting to crack in about the last 30 miles or so.
Final 5 miles. I am spent. But just gotta keep pedaling. Get there in no time. Whew.
The last 3 miles had all distances riding together to the finish, so that was pretty cool. Just pretty good like party vibes going on. Eventually I finished in 5 hours 47 minutes, which put me in 47th place. I didn't have too much left in the tank when I crossed the finish line, so I'm pretty happy with that. And ended up taking home this pretty cool mug. So yeah, accomplished the goals I was hoping to. And at the finish line there's an awesome after party with a bunch of tents and good food trucks. So yeah, overall it's a very cool event with something for everyone. So I definitely understand why it's one of the biggest gravel events in the world. And yeah, that's all.